All right, I've got my little makeshift spray booth set up. Yeah, serves its purpose, I guess. Climb through here. Got the back side of the body all sanded down and just went around with some spot putty, filled in some of the pinholes. Over here there's a big gouge, so I threw some body filler on there. It looks like a lot, but it won't be. Some up there. Sanded it with 320. Gonna sand the filler with 320. I will wet sand the primer with 400 probably. If 400's eating into it too bad, I will sand it with 600. Wet sand it. I'm letting this filler set up, and then I will get to sanding, get this all pretty close, and then bring the front part of the body in here and start getting that ready. Yeah, I've gotten everything sanded. It's ready to be primed now. After I finished sanding it with 320 and got all the filler off, I took it outside and washed it off with the hose and used a rag to kind of get all that extra dust and stuff off. And then I went back and I have some isopropyl alcohol and deionized water rags. The rags are soaked in it, it comes sealed. And then I went back and wiped all this down with that. It seemed to work pretty well. So I'm not going to set my phone up in here and get overspray all over my phone. After I spray it, I'm gonna throw the fan up in that window and try to suck some of the overspray out. This is the primer that I'm using, 2K urethane primer. I've used it before, it works very well. On the back it says the high build is 4:1, which is what I'm gonna use because it needs some filler. But I don't wanna get my phone all covered in overspray, so let's just snap you through it. All right, she's all good and primed. Doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's just primer. It's gonna get wet sanded anyways, but there's a couple spots where, you know, I could have put in a little more work and got it better, but as long as it looks decent, that's all the same color, fresh paint, that's all I want. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit, and then I'll hit it with some guide coat so I know how much to sand when I go to wet sanding it with 400 is what I'm gonna try first. Spread guide coat on there, and then you sand all that off, and it should get you to a paintable surface. You might have to do a little bit more, but it's usually pretty close. And then I'm gonna paint the underside of it black, like the inside and everything. That's the next step. So I got the guide coat on. I'll just go back and wet sand this with, I'm gonna start with 400 like I said. I put this primer on there pretty thick, so I think 400 should be all right. I did 3 coats, but yeah, I'm gonna flip this over, get the inside painted. Ta-da! Oh yeah, pro tip, if you're spraying this, anything really, in your garage, and can find space like this, make sure you wet your floor. I was in a hurry and didn't do that. Forgot to do that, so pat on the back for that one. Well, that took entirely too long. Note to self, don't put that much guide coat on something. Or maybe I didn't wait long enough and the primer wasn't cured all the way and I sprayed it with guide coat and it kind of dried to it, but yeah, that took forever. That's about 4 hours of wet sanding. I just finished it with 400. I just wiped it off with a towel, so it's not all the way dry yet, but gonna go back, wipe all this down with the isopropyl alcohol rags once again. Man, I had to power through that wet sanding deal, but I know that it's worth it. It's gonna help the paint job turn out better, and it'll be rewarding in the long run. All right, it's not terrible. It's base coat, clear coat. I got a couple of runs in it in the base coat. There's a speck of dust right there. I got a couple of runs in the base coat that I had to sand out. I used 2000, wet sanded them out, and then re-hit the nose piece with base coat. Then went ahead and cleared both of them. It could be better, could be worse. Not totally displeased with it, but I mean, what do you expect when you don't have a spray booth? I mean, it's not terrible. Not sure of the color yet. It's dark out right now. Can't take it out in the sunlight and see how it looks, you know, outside. Obviously, all paint looks different in the sun, but I will say that this paint looked way different on the sample. It was a lot more blue. It was almost like a bluish silver, and now after I spray it, it's like a bluish purple, which I don't completely hate it, but I wish I would have known that before I sprayed it. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is now. I'm not redoing it now, so hopefully it looks cool in the sun. And yeah, I got the heaters cranked up in here, letting her bake, and I'm gonna get the golf cart back over here. Probably go ahead and get the lights and stuff ran, get the steering wheel on it, and yeah, get to putting this thing back together. Well, that took a minute, but I got the headlights working. Tail lights are working, along with the brake lights. Turn signals. Horn. The bracket that came with this little micro switch right here for the brakes broke. And when it is on, or pressed, right here clicking, when it clicks, yeah, your brake lights are not on. When it's pressed in, your brake lights are not on. But when you let off the switch, the lights turn on. And yeah, the stock bracket that they sent with it is not very thick, and I broke it, so I had to make my own little L bracket. This is what it came with. Not very thick. I tried bending it, and it broke. So that took longer than I wanted, but yeah, we got that wrapped up. Next up, I'm gonna get this new steering wheel on. Well, that was fun. I had to break the saw out and cut it up a little bit. Couldn't get it off, and then I used pulley puller to get it off. So yeah, that thing's garbage, but that's all right. We got a new one anyways. Nice fresh unit. With this adapter, and you just make sure that your wheels are straight and the center goes to the top. Slide it on, tighten the hub back up, and then your steering wheel threads into the adapter. Oh yeah, much better. All right, so this thing is just about done. I got the headlights on it. Obviously the roof's on it. All these bars in the roof are color matched. Got the seats on it, freshly wrapped. And the GTW rear seat is also on. I got a few other things to do. I got the other cup holders back on. I went ahead and touched them up because they were all faded and stuff. I got the new Extreme floor mats. I was gonna go with like the blue outline floor mat, but I didn't think it would look right because the blue is a lot lighter than the color of the golf cart, so I just went with the all black one. I have to throw the rear inner fender wells on. Have to get the windshield cleaned up. Windshield's over here. It's not terrible, but like you can tell it's scratched a little bit, and somebody decided to tape that broken brace to it, or bracket, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that cleaned up. I saw this trick about using a heat gun to get all the scratches and stuff out of it, so I think I'm gonna try that. Hopefully not warp the shit out of it. If I do, I'll just get a new one, because I almost ordered a new one last night, but I figured I would try to save this one first. And I also have to throw some Fix-A-Flat in this tire.